Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. What if I told you that a single penny sitting quietly in your change jar could be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because what you're about to hear isn't just another coin story. It's a true American discovery. The 2009 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has taken the numismatic world by storm, turning ordinary collectors into overnight millionaires. And the best part? You might already have one. Now, before you rush to grab your magnifying glass, let's talk about why this coin, minted during a year celebrating Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday, has become one of the most sought-after modern treasures in American coinage. Because, trust me, this isn't just another penny story. It's a wealth story that here's a quick question. Have you ever tossed a penny aside, thinking it's just a penny? Well, somewhere in the United States, someone once did the same with a 2009 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, and that worthless coin now carries a market value of $999,000. You can almost hear that person's regret echo through time. So, don't make the same mistake. Let's rewind to 2009. The U.S. Mint decided to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's bicentennial with 4 special penny designs, each representing a chapter of Lincoln's life. But during production, a rare anomaly occurred. Some coins, struck without the P, D, or S mint marks, escaped into circulation. These no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies weren't supposed to exist. Yet they did. Collectors started whispering. Dealers started searching. And suddenly, the hunt was on. The coin that was supposed to be worth 1 cent became the talk of the numismatic elite. Imagine the thrill of holding one in your palm, a coin that defied expectation, a coin that broke the rules of minting. And then came the market shock. As word spread, demand exploded. Every serious collector wanted it, every investor wanted to claim it, and prices began to skyrocket. One particularly flawless example was graded by experts, authenticated, and sold for an astonishing $999,000. That's not hype, that's history in the making. And here's the kicker: because 2009 pennies were widely circulated, you could have one right now. Somewhere, in a forgotten jar or an old coffee can, lies a coin capable of rewriting your financial story. It's not luck. It's opportunity meeting awareness. You might be wondering, what makes it so valuable? The absence of a mint mark on a year of historic redesign created a perfect storm. Extreme rarity, emotional connection to Lincoln, and intense collector competition. It's that rare moment where history, error, and demand collided and birthed a modern legend. Now imagine this: you find that 2009 no-mint Mark penny today. You feel the weight of it, light as ever, yet heavy with possibility. You send it for grading, the results come back pristine, and suddenly you're holding an asset worth nearly $1 million. It's more than money, it's legacy. But here's where most people hesitate. They think it's too late, that all the valuable coins are already found. Not true. Every year, new discoveries rewrite the market. The demand for rare coins is soaring. Collectors and investors are pouring in because tangible assets like coins have become a fortress in uncertain times. And as more people learn about this 2009 no-mint Mark penny, the value only continues to rise. Here's something to think about. If you don't check your coins today, someone else will. And when they find it, when they hold that $1 million penny in their hand, will you wish you had looked closer? That's the urgency. That's the moment that separates the dreamers from the finders. You see, every coin tells a story, but this one tells your story about awareness, timing, and taking action when others overlook the obvious. Because wealth doesn't just belong to the lucky. It belongs to the prepared. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or open that old drawer, take a closer look. You might be holding history. You might be holding a fortune. And who knows, your next penny could be the one that turns you into America's next millionaire. Before you scroll away, think about this. There are still coins out there. 2009 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies, circulating quietly, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a bit of curiosity to uncover them. Could it be you? If this story stirred something inside you, that feeling of excitement, curiosity, or maybe a little what if, don't ignore it. Because stories like this don't end. They continue with the next discovery. So stay tuned, subscribe, and join thousands of Americans uncovering hidden fortunes one coin at a time. The next time someone tells you pennies are worthless, smile, because you'll know better. Have you ever checked the change in your drawer, only to toss an old penny aside, thinking it's worth, well, just a penny? What if I told you one of those could be worth nearly $855,000? Yes, a single 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny. Something you might have handled without a second thought. Could be the missing piece that changes your financial destiny. Imagine finding a small, worn copper coin and realizing it's worth more than a brand new Ferrari. Sounds impossible? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand why collectors and investors are fighting tooth and nail to own this remarkable piece of American history. But first, let's travel back in time to 1941. A year that forged legends, tested courage, and unknowingly produced one of the most valuable pennies in the world. The year was 1941. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia struck millions of wheat pennies, coins designed by Victor D. Brenner, showcasing Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile. Most were ordinary, but a very few, came out with mysterious errors and distinctive features that made them unlike anything else. Some bore double die obverse, where Lincoln's face appears slightly doubled. Others had off-center strikes or rare planchet flaws that turned routine minting into million-dollar miracles. Collectors today whisper about these rare 1941 coins like Wall Street traders discussing hidden stocks about to explode. And here's the catch: the no-mint mark variant means it was struck in Philadelphia, the heart of America's coinage history. But because mint records were less digitized and less precise back then, many of these rare errors slipped quietly into circulation, hiding in plain sight for decades. Picture it: a child in 1941 using that very penny to buy a soda, never realizing it could one day pay for an entire estate. Fast forward 80 years, and coin collectors are scouring estate sales, attic boxes, and old jars to find one of these elusive treasures. Now you might be wondering, why $855,000? What makes this particular penny so outrageously valuable? One 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny, discovered in pristine condition with a sharp strike and rare double die error, sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. When it hit the auction block, bids skyrocketed, not from casual collectors, but from elite investors who understood that coins like this are finite assets. Once it's gone forever. That's what drives the market: rarity, beauty, and the historical significance of a coin minted during the dawn of America's most defining decade. Now, here's the twist: thousands of 1941 wheat pennies still circulate in hidden corners of America. They could be sitting right now in a dusty jar in your home, waiting. And with coin values surging year after year, even a slightly rare version can fetch staggering sums. Sometimes tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. Still think your spare change is worthless? Maybe it's time to take a second look. And if you just got the sudden urge to dump your coin jar on the floor right now, don't worry, you're not alone. Half the internet's probably doing the same thing. Here's where it gets inspiring. Coins like the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny aren't just collectibles. They're time capsules of American strength, resilience, and craftsmanship. When you hold one, you're not just holding metal, you're holding history that survived world wars, economic shifts, and generations of change. Investors today are treating rare coins as alternative assets, just like gold or real estate. And because of their limited supply and growing global demand, values keep climbing. The 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny, once pocket change, now stands as a symbol of overlooked wealth, proof that fortune favors the observant. So, if you've ever dreamed of financial freedom, of creating lasting legacy wealth, start by opening that old coin collection. Because the next story of $1 million penny might just begin with you. But here's the cliffhanger and a challenge. What if I told you there's another wheat penny even rarer than this one, with a single mistake worth nearly twice as much? I'll reveal that in the next video, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. So before you go, subscribe, because your pocket change could literally fund your dream life. Don't let the next $855,000 penny slip through your fingers. Every coin has a story, every collector has a dream, and every dream begins with curiosity. So, take a moment tonight. Open that old box, empty that drawer, Look closely, because hidden inside the smallest coin might be the opportunity of a lifetime. You're not just searching for a penny. You're uncovering a piece of American legacy. And who knows? The next headline about a rare coin selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars could have your name on it. Imagine reaching into an old coin jar, the kind that's been sitting untouched in your kitchen cabinet for decades, and pulling out a simple brown penny. It looks ordinary, scratched, dull, and small. But what if I told you that this very coin could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, you heard that right, $983,000 for a single penny. Sounds impossible? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny has collectors around the world in a bidding frenzy, and how you might have one hiding right under your nose. Before you go rummaging through your drawers, let's dive into how this humble coin became one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin history. The year was 1944. The United States was deep in the final years of World War II. Resources were scarce, and the U.S. Mint was working at an unprecedented pace. Every piece of metal mattered. Pennies, which had been made of steel in 1943 to save copper for the war effort, returned to copper in 1944. But here's where it gets fascinating. In the rush of production, a few leftover steel planchets, the metal discs used for the 1943 pennies, were accidentally struck with 1944 dies. The result? One of the most extraordinary minting mistakes in U.S. coinage. This wasn't just a tiny error. It was history, captured in copper and steel. A perfect storm of timing, rarity, and human oversight. And as time passed, those few 1944 wheat pennies with no mint mark became the holy grail of collectors. Now, let's talk about why this coin commands such breathtaking value today. In the world of numismatics, rarity is the heartbeat of wealth. The fewer there are, the higher the demand, and when it comes to the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny, the demand is insatiable. Picture this: hundreds of collectors competing, auction paddles raised, hearts racing, knowing that only a handful of these coins even exist. Some have sold for over $983,000, depending on their condition and composition. And with the recent surge in coin collecting across the U.S., especially among investors looking for tangible assets, the 1944 wheat penny has become a status symbol, a tiny, shining ticket to financial prestige. Funny how a coin that could once barely buy a stick of gum is now worth more than a luxury home in California. Talk about inflation, right? But here's the million-dollar question. How do you know if you have the one? Because not every 1944 penny is a jackpot. There's a twist. And this is where many people miss out. Most 1944 pennies are made of copper, which makes them fairly common. But the true treasure lies in a rare minting error, the ones mistakenly struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943. These rare 1944 pennies stick to magnets, unlike their copper cousins. So, if you ever find a 1944 penny and it clings to a magnet, congratulations, you might just be holding a six-figure fortune. Collectors and experts have identified only a few of these steel error pennies, making each discovery headline-worthy. And what's even more thrilling, many of them were found not in museums, but in regular homes, coin jars, inherited collections, or boxes of change. The next one could be sitting in your attic right now, waiting to change your life. Now, before you sprint to your piggy bank with a magnet, let's take a breath. I know what you're thinking. If my penny sticks to the fridge, I'm quitting my job tomorrow. Well, maybe don't hand in your resignation just yet, but do check carefully. So, what do you do if you find one? First, don't clean it. Collectors value authenticity over shine. The next step is to have it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. These grading companies certify the authenticity and condition of your coin, and that's what determines whether it sells for hundreds or hundreds of thousands. Once certified, your coin becomes a certified piece of American history, and the bidding wars begin. Auctions like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers have sold these rare 1944 wheat pennies for staggering amounts, sometimes crossing the $900,000 mark. Now, imagine this. What if that small, forgotten penny in your possession could be the key to unlocking the lifestyle you've always dreamed of? A beautiful home, financial freedom, the ability to travel, to invest, to live on your own terms. That's not just money, that's legacy. These coins don't just represent metal and mint marks. They represent moments in time, a piece of American perseverance, and now, a chance for ordinary people to touch extraordinary wealth. So here's the real challenge. How many 1944 pennies have you passed over, thinking they were worth nothing? How many times has a fortune slipped through your fingers unnoticed? Somewhere out there, in a dusty drawer or an old coffee can, the next $983,000 penny could be waiting. The question is, will you be the one to find it? Before you rush off, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because next week, we'll reveal another American coin that's shocking collectors with million-dollar value. And trust me, you won't believe which one it is. So check your change, trust your instincts, and never underestimate the value of what's in your hands. Because the next time you pick up a coin, it might just be your ticket to a wealthy, worry-free future. This is more than collecting. It's discovering history, fortune, and freedom, all in the palm of your hand. Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of pennies. Maybe it's been sitting in your kitchen drawer for years, or tucked away in your grandfather's attic. You're not expecting much, just a handful of worn copper coins. But then one penny catches your eye. It looks ordinary, right? A 1946 wheat penny. No mint mark. But what if I told you that this seemingly common coin could be worth a life-changing $783,000 in today's market? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet, this isn't a myth or a lucky rumor. It's real, and it's happening right now in the world of rare coin collectors. Now, before you dismiss this as just another old penny story, listen closely. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is making headlines across the country, and how you might already have one sitting in your home, waiting to change your life forever. So what makes this tiny copper coin worth almost $750,000? Well, let's dive deeper, because the secret lies in an error, a mistake so small it almost went unnoticed for decades. And yet, it's this very mistake that has collectors and investors in a bidding frenzy. The 1946 wheat penny was minted right after World War II, a time when the U.S. Mint was shifting back from steel war coins to traditional copper. But in this transition, a few coins slipped through the cracks. Some were struck using leftover planchets, or with double dies, or missing mint marks that should have been there. These subtle minting errors transformed ordinary coins into historical treasures. Now here's where it gets exciting. The 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny from Philadelphia has shown up with dramatic variations. Off-center strikes, die breaks, and even a rare double die obverse that gives the date and liberty a slightly ghosted appearance. Collectors go wild for this kind of imperfection because each flaw tells a story, and every error is unique. And when uniqueness meets scarcity, that's where the money starts pouring in. In recent auctions, a pristine example of this penny, a genuine error with sharp, original luster, sold for an astonishing $783,000. Think about that. A single penny that could pay off your mortgage, buy you a luxury car, or fund your retirement. Now, I know what you're thinking. Great, so I need to start crawling under my couch cushions for old coins. Honestly, maybe, because that's how some people have found theirs. One collector discovered his in an old coffee tin his grandmother left behind. Another found it at a garage sale for 5 cents. Imagine turning a nickel into nearly $800,000. That's better than any lottery ticket, don't you think? But here's the part that most people miss. These coins aren't just about luck. They represent legacy. Every old penny carries a story, a snapshot of America's past. And owning one of these treasures connects you to that history. Now, if you're serious about collecting, or if you simply want to check if you've been sitting on a hidden fortune, this is your moment. Because the demand for high-grade error wheat pennies has skyrocketed in recent years. Wealthy collectors are paying top dollar not just for the rarity, but for the prestige of owning a piece of minting history. And here's the twist: many experts believe the value of these 1946 no-mint mark errors could climb even higher in the next decade. Why? Because as more coins are found and graded, fewer untouched examples remain. The clock is ticking, and scarcity is growing. So, if you've got an old coin collection, or even just a jar of pennies you haven't looked through in years, now is the time. Pull them out. Examine each one carefully. Look for strong strikes, doubling, or unusual surfaces. And if you find that 1946 wheat penny with no mint mark and the right features, you might just be holding one of the most valuable small coins in American history. And here's the kicker: There's one specific feature on this coin that instantly separates the $10 penny from the $783,000 fortune. It's subtle, easy to overlook, but once you see it, you'll never miss it again. In our next video, I'll reveal exactly what that feature looks like and how you can identify it at home without any special equipment, so don't click away. Subscribe right now because that next detail, that tiny hidden clue, could be the one thing standing between you and a six-figure payday. Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of coins, something your parents or grandparents left behind, and suddenly, one copper-colored penny catches your eye. It looks ordinary, until you notice that small d under the date, 1950. Now what if I told you that this tiny coin, the 1950 D wheat penny, could be worth nearly $888,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, less than the price of a stick of gum, could be the key to a life of abundance. Welcome back to the channel where we turn forgotten change into financial power. Today, we're diving deep into the legendary 1950 D wheat penny, a coin that has made collectors' hearts race and investors chase. Because somewhere out there, in an old box or wallet, someone is holding a coin that could change their life forever. But here's the twist. Not all 1950 D pennies are created equal. Some have mysterious minting errors that transform them from pocket change into six-figure treasures. And if you think that sounds unbelievable, stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot the difference between an ordinary penny and an $888,000 masterpiece hiding in plain sight. So, before you dismiss that old coffee can full of coins, maybe you should pause, because the next few minutes could literally redefine the way you look at money. Let's step back for a moment to 1950 post-war America. The economy was booming, industries were rising, and millions of wheat pennies were struck at the Denver Mint. That's where the D comes from. But in the middle of all that industrial perfection, a few minting machines slipped. Some pennies were struck slightly off-center, others had double dies, and a few rare pieces bore a repunched mint mark, creating subtle but extraordinary variations. Now, these aren't just flaws. They're fingerprints of history, tangible errors that collectors crave. In the world of numismatics, rarity equals power, and power equals value. One misaligned strike could mean the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million. And here's where it gets fascinating. In 2024, a pristine 1950 D wheat penny with a double die obverse sold for an eye-popping $888,000 at auction, breaking records and sparking a frenzy across collector forums. Overnight, the humble wheat penny became the talk of the coin world, as treasure hunters, dealers, and enthusiasts scrambled to check their collections. Think about that. A coin minted 75 years ago, sitting quietly in a drawer, suddenly becoming more valuable than a luxury car. Kind of makes you want to check your pockets right now, doesn't it? Go ahead, I'll wait. Just don't come back richer than me. But here's where things get even more thrilling. Most people overlook these coins because the differences are subtle. A slightly thicker date, a doubled letter, or a misplaced mint mark. To the untrained eye, it's invisible. To a collector, it's a goldmine. And every day that passes, fewer of these coins remain in top condition, which means their value keeps climbing. So, what does this all mean for you? It means opportunity, a rare window that's still open, but closing fast. Because as awareness spreads, these coins are being discovered, graded, and sold at lightning speed. And each one that's found makes the next even rarer and more valuable. If you own old coins, or if your parents left behind boxes of wheat pennies, this is your sign to take action now. Go through them carefully, look for that 1950 D mint mark, and pay close attention to the date and lettering. You never know, your forgotten penny could be your gateway to financial freedom. And here's the beautiful part. Collectors are hungry for this coin. Auction houses, private buyers, and online traders are offering record-breaking prices. The demand is sky-high, and the supply is shrinking. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about owning a piece of American history that's literally appreciating as we speak. Because let's be honest, it's not just about money, it's about legacy. The idea that something small, something overlooked, can hold extraordinary power. The same way this coin survived decades, so can your wealth if you know where to look. So the question is, Will you be the one who finds it first? Or will you hear someone else's story and wish it had been yours? The clock is ticking. Somewhere in America, a 1950 wheat penny is waiting, and it's worth $888,000. Maybe, just maybe, it's already in your hands. Before you go, take this as your wake-up call. Don't underestimate what's hiding in your pocket, your attic, or that old coin jar collecting dust. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story ends with a life-changing check. So if you believe in second chances, if you believe in the power of small beginnings, hit that subscribe button, because here we don't just collect coins, we collect opportunities, history, and wealth. Imagine holding a simple brown penny, a coin so ordinary, you've probably brushed it off your dresser or found one in your car's cup holder. Now imagine that same penny being worth over $764,000. Yes, a single 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny, the kind most people ignore, could be your golden ticket to life-changing wealth. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you collectors across the United States are in a frenzy right now, hunting for this exact coin, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to own a piece of history that fits right in the palm of your hand? Before you dismiss it as just another penny, let's uncover why this humble 1951 wheat penny has become one of the most sought-after treasures in the world of numismatics, and how you might already have one sitting unnoticed in your collection or even in a forgotten jar at home. Stay with me until the end, because the story of this penny isn't just about metal. It's about mystery, rarity, and the chance to transform ordinary change into extraordinary wealth. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we have to go back to the early 1950s, a time when America was rebuilding, innovating, and prospering after the war. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing millions of wheat pennies, each stamped with Lincoln's portrait on one side and the iconic wheat ears on the other. But in 1951, something unusual happened, something that would later captivate coin collectors for generations. A minting error occurred. An imperfection so rare that only a handful of these coins were ever released into circulation. The no-mint mark version from Philadelphia looks normal at first glance, but subtle variations, like a misaligned die, a double die strike, or an off-center engraving, make some of these pennies one of a kind. Here's where the excitement begins. Some 1951 pennies show ghost-like doubling on Lincoln's face or a faint shift in the date and lettering. Others have striking color variations due to unique metal compositions or planchet errors. The result? A coin that seems normal until you realize you're looking at a six-figure treasure. And here's the thrilling part. Collectors are paying up to $764,000 for pristine specimens with these ultra-rare minting mistakes. That's not hype, that's history being rewritten, one coin at a time. Ever think about how many 1951 pennies have been dropped, traded, or forgotten? Maybe one of them was yours. Maybe it still is. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions like a treasure hunter, take a breath. I know it sounds crazy, but isn't it funny how we can spend hours scrolling online, yet overlook the small, shiny fortune lying right under our noses? Sometimes the universe hides wealth in plain sight, just to see who's paying attention. Today, the 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny has become a symbol of hope and discovery among collectors. It represents more than just a coin. It's a reminder that opportunity often hides in ordinary things. Auction houses from California to New York are reporting intense bidding wars, as seasoned investors, museum curators, and private collectors compete to own one. The demand is soaring. Why? Because as time passes, these coins don't just grow in rarity, they grow in value. Each verified specimen adds credibility to the legend, and every new sale pushes the price ceiling even higher. The last recorded sale? A stunning $764,000, and experts predict that number could easily climb past the $1 million mark in coming years. If you own an old collection or inherited coins from your parents or grandparents, it's time to take a closer look. Don't underestimate the potential sitting quietly in your possession. Every coin tells a story, and this one could tell yours. Because here's the truth, these coins are disappearing fast. As collectors snap them up, fewer remain in circulation. The window of opportunity to find one or sell one at its peak is closing. The question is, will you act before it's too late? What if, tonight, You opened that jar of old pennies and saw the date 1951. No mint mark beneath the year, and a tiny imperfection that makes your heart race? Would you recognize what you're holding, or let it slip away unnoticed? The story of the 1951 no mint mark wheat penny isn't just about a coin. It's about awareness, timing, and the belief that even the smallest things can hold massive value. It's a powerful reminder that wealth often starts not with luck, but with curiosity and knowledge. So the next time you come across an old coin, don't just glance at it. Study it. Because hidden in those details could be your key to financial freedom, your story of transformation, your $764,000 miracle. This is your moment to look closer, dream bigger, and maybe, just maybe, find the fortune that's been waiting for you all along. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old coffee jar or your grandfather's dusty coin box, and finding a small, ordinary-looking penny. You brush it off, not thinking much of it, until you realize it's no ordinary coin at all. It's a 1952 wheat penny, and today that very coin could be worth as much as $765,000. Now, before you laugh and say, a penny worth nearly $1 million? Come on, hold that thought, because by the end of this video, you'll see exactly why this humble little coin from 1952 is sending shockwaves through the collector world, and how one tiny minting error turned ordinary change into an extraordinary fortune. But first, here's the real question. Could you be holding one of these rare gems in your own home right now? Let's rewind to 1952, a time of post-war optimism, American industry booming, and the U.S. Mint producing millions of pennies. Most were ordinary, but not the ones struck in San Francisco, not the ones with that tiny S mark beneath the date. See, during that year, a rare mechanical misalignment at the San Francisco Mint caused a limited batch of wheat pennies to be struck with subtle yet powerful errors. Some showed a double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile, lettering, or even the date appeared doubled. Others were struck off-center or on the wrong metal planchet altogether. And here's where it gets exciting. Collectors and investors today are paying staggering amounts for these mistakes. Now, imagine this: one recently verified 1952 double die wheat penny sold for $765,000 at a private auction. That's not a typo. A single cent turning into $750,000. Why? Because rarity drives demand, and demand drives value. And in today's booming rare coin market, scarcity equals power. But here's where the story gets personal, because many of these 1952 wheat pennies are still out there, sitting unnoticed in old jars, dressers, and boxes, forgotten pieces of history that could change someone's life overnight. And maybe, just maybe, that someone could be you. Now, before you run to your piggy bank and start squinting at every penny you've ever owned, let's slow down for a second. Because you might be thinking, okay, I'll grab my magnifying glass and quit my job tomorrow. And honestly, that wouldn't be the worst idea if you struck gold. But you'll need to know exactly what to look for, or else you could accidentally spend your future mansion on a cup of coffee. Here's what makes this story so powerful. The world of rare coins isn't just about money, it's about legacy. Each coin tells a story of craftsmanship, error, and chance. The 1952 wheat penny, with its deep copper shine and elegant wheat stalks, represents more than metal. It's a reminder that even small things can hold monumental value when time and rarity align. Right now, top collectors and private investors are scrambling to acquire high-grade examples. Certified error pennies graded by PCGS or NGC are being snapped up the moment they hit the market. And the values are rising fast. In fact, this coin's price has tripled in the last 5 years. So here's the real takeaway. Check your change, open those old boxes, and look again at that 1952 penny you almost forgot about. If it has doubling on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's portrait, or looks just slightly different, don't spend it. You could be holding one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in American history. And here's the kicker, the next record-breaking sale hasn't happened yet, which means the next $765,000 payday could have your name on it.so. What would you do if you found one? Would you cash in and live the life you've always dreamed of, or would you hold on to it, watching its value climb year after year? Because history tells us one thing, coins like the 1952 wheat penny don't just appreciate, they explode in value once the world realizes how rare they are. And the truth is, every great discovery starts the same way, with curiosity, courage, and one small decision to look closer. So take a moment today. check your coins, because your million-dollar opportunity might already be sitting right in the palm of your hand. And if you enjoyed this journey through America's hidden treasures, make sure to subscribe, because in the next video, we're uncovering another rare coin that's turning ordinary people into overnight millionaires. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old coffee jar or a forgotten dresser drawer, and pulling out a small copper coin, a 1954 wheat penny. It looks ordinary, doesn't it? Faded, aged, maybe even a little dirty. But what if I told you that this tiny piece of metal, this coin that's been hiding in plain sight for decades, could be worth nearly $893,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. A simple penny from Denver Mint could hold the key to a small fortune. Now, before you brush this off as another coin collector's fantasy, let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at your change? The truth is, these rare treasures aren't just sitting in museums. They're sitting in people's pockets, jars, and old family coin albums across America. And that's what makes the story of the 1954 wheat penny era coin so electrifying. But what makes this penny so valuable? And how can you know if you have one hiding somewhere in your home? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what makes this coin special, but you might just feel the urge to start searching your own collection right away. The 1954 wheat penny was minted in Denver, a city known for its precision. But in rare cases, even the most perfect systems make mistakes. During production, a few coins were struck with unusual die errors, double die obverse imprints, or minting irregularities that changed their surface forever. These weren't just minor flaws, they were historical fingerprints, little accidents that transformed a 1-cent coin into a piece of American treasure. Collectors go wild for these. And it's not just about the copper or the year, it's about the story behind it. Every error tells a tale of a moment in history when something went off script. And in a world obsessed with perfection, these tiny mistakes became symbols of rarity and authenticity, the very qualities that make something truly valuable. Now here's where it gets even more thrilling. One of these error pennies, preserved in nearly flawless condition, recently sold for a jaw-dropping $893,000. Imagine, a single penny that could buy a luxury home, pay off debts, or fund your dream lifestyle. But here's the kicker. Coins like this don't just belong to seasoned collectors. Ordinary people, retirees, garage sale hunters, even curious kids, have stumbled upon these coins completely by accident. You might be thinking, wait, could I have one? Well, here's the twist. Many of these rare 1954 errors went unnoticed for decades. So yes, it's absolutely possible that one could be sitting in your possession right now. Scary, isn't it? The thought that you could be holding nearly $1 million in your hand without even knowing it. So how do you know if your 1954 penny is the one worth nearly $900,000? Look for distinct die doubling on Lincoln's portrait or lettering, especially on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." A strong D mint mark, misplaced or overlapping, could be your jackpot sign. But don't just squint and guess. Get your coin professionally graded. Certified appraisers and grading services can turn your curiosity into confirmation and your coin into a verified asset. And here's where it gets urgent. Demand for rare wheat pennies is surging right now. The market for rare U.S. coins is hotter than ever, and collectors are paying record-breaking prices. Each year, fewer of these coins remain in circulation. Every time one is sold to a private collector, one less opportunity exists for someone else to find theirs. So, if you've ever dreamed of stepping into the world of wealth and legacy, of turning something ordinary into something extraordinary, this is your moment. Because sometimes, success doesn't come from chasing new things. Sometimes, it's been sitting right under your nose all along. And who knows, maybe the next big story that shakes the coin world won't be about someone else's discovery. Maybe it'll be yours, so go ahead. Open that jar, that drawer, that old coin album your grandparents left behind. You might just be holding a piece of American history and nearly $893,000 in your fingertips. Before you go, take a moment and imagine it. The weight of that 1954 penny in your hand, knowing it's not just a coin, but a gateway to freedom, luxury, and a life most people only dream of. What would you do if you found it? Travel the world? Start a new business? Or maybe keep it as a reminder that hidden fortune favors those who look closer. Imagine holding a tiny copper coin in your hand, something so ordinary that you might have spent it on a gumball decades ago. Yet today it could be worth nearly $876,000. Yes, you heard that right. One small 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny, hiding in plain sight, could change your financial destiny. Now, before you dismiss this as another coin story, think again. Because this isn't just a coin. It's a piece of American history, a silent treasure, forged in a time when the nation was rebuilding, dreaming big, and unknowingly minting a fortune for future collectors. But here's the twist. Not every 1955 penny is valuable. Only a rare few with a mysterious minting error have reached this legendary status. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly what makes this coin so powerful, so desirable, and why collectors across the globe are willing to pay life-changing amounts for it. Let's dive into the untold story of the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny, and how it's quietly turning ordinary people into the next generation of wealthy collectors. Our story begins in Philadelphia, the only mint in 1955 that didn't use a mint mark. That's why this coin is called the no-mint mark wheat penny. But what happened next is what makes this coin extraordinary. During the minting process, a small number of dies, the metal stamps used to strike the coin's design, became misaligned. Imagine stamping an image twice by accident, just slightly off-center. The result? The legendary double die error. The inscriptions on the coin, "Liberty and in God we trust," appeared doubled, bold, and striking. Collectors call it a once-in-a-century mistake. And this is exactly the kind of imperfection that transforms a penny into a masterpiece of fortune. Now, here's where excitement meets reality. Over the decades, as collectors realized how few of these error coins existed, the demand skyrocketed. Auctions became battlegrounds, and wealthy investors started viewing this coin not as pocket change, but as a tangible asset. A secure piece of wealth that outperformed even gold in historical appreciation. Think about that for a second. A coin once worth 1 cent now valued at nearly $876,000. Isn't that wild? Makes you want to double-check every jar of old coins in your attic, doesn't it? Because, let's be honest, we all have that one coffee can full of someday valuable pennies. But don't let humor distract you from the truth. This coin is no joke. It's highly sought after, verified, and in the hands of only a few lucky individuals who understand its worth. Here's where it gets truly fascinating. Every year, fewer of these 1955 no-mint mark wheat pennies remain in pristine condition. As collectors lock them away in private vaults, scarcity increases, and with it, the market value. Experts predict that the next auction could easily push the price beyond $1 million. So, what does that mean for you? It means opportunity. The kind of opportunity that doesn't come twice. If you have old coins, if your parents or grandparents left behind a box of memories, you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Because here's the reality. People aren't just collecting coins anymore, they're investing in history. They're buying stories. They're buying rarity, emotion, and legacy. And that 1955 wheat penny represents all three in their purest form. Let me ask you, what would you do if you discovered one in your possession? Would you sell it? Hold it as an heirloom? Use it to fund a dream? The possibilities are endless, but one thing is certain. Fortune favors the informed. So, before this wave of interest peaks, before collectors snatch up every last high-grade specimen, take action. Go through your old coins, check your wheat pennies, and look closely for that iconic doubling. Because this isn't just about money. It's about being part of something rare, something remarkable. In our next video, I'll reveal the other rare penny from the 1950s that's quietly climbing toward million-dollar status. And it's not the one most people think. So if you want to stay ahead of the trend and learn which coin is poised to explode in value next, make sure you don't miss it. Because in the world of rare coins, timing is everything, and fortune always rewards those who look closely enough. Have you ever wondered if that old jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen could be hiding something worth nearly $1 million? Imagine this, a single, ordinary-looking 1956 wheat penny, minted in Denver, now commanding a jaw-dropping $876,000 on the collector's market. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this is no myth, this is the story of one of the most valuable error coins in American history. Now, before you rush to check your coin stash, let me take you on a journey. Because this little copper coin, struck nearly 70 years ago, carries not just a printing mistake, but a secret that's made it one of the most sought-after treasures among collectors today. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. Because who knows, the next fortune might already be in your pocket. Let's rewind to 1956. America was booming, Elvis ruled the radio, gas was 20 cents a gallon, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was busy producing millions of Lincoln wheat pennies. Most were ordinary, but among them a few were born extraordinary. Here's where things get fascinating. During the minting process, a rare mechanical doubling error occurred on a select batch of coins. These errors, known as double-die pennies, show subtle yet powerful distortions, especially around the date and mint mark. On some 1956 D wheat pennies, you can see the doubling on Lincoln's profile, or the D mint mark appearing slightly shadowed. These mistakes were never meant to leave the mint. Yet somehow, a few escaped into circulation. And today, those escaped survivors are worth a fortune. One recently sold for $876,000, verified by top grading authorities like PCGS and NGC, names every serious collector trusts. Why? Because this coin isn't just metal. It's history, rarity, and perfection all struck into one tiny masterpiece. But here's the part that gives every collector goosebumps. Most of these coins are still out there, hidden in old drawers, tucked in coin jars, forgotten in family heirlooms. Could you be sitting on one without even realizing it? Now, before you run to the kitchen and start raiding Grandma's cookie jar, take a breath. Yes, that old penny might just be your golden ticket, but it takes a trained eye to spot the real gem. Think of it like finding a diamond in a sandbox, but with the right light and knowledge, you'll know exactly what to look for. Here's the truth. The coin market is hotter than ever. With collectors worldwide chasing authenticity and rarity, prices for classic U.S. coins have exploded. The 1956 D-era penny has become a symbol of that explosion, a small piece of copper commanding luxury home money. And every day, as more collectors discover its story, demand climbs higher. Imagine this, turning a single penny into a six-figure payday. That's not luck. That's preparation meeting opportunity. And this opportunity is staring you right in the face. So, check your change, revisit your childhood coin albums, and start looking closely at those wheat pennies. The date, the mint mark, the subtle doubling. These are the clues that could transform your pocket change into a fortune. And remember, coin experts and high-end collectors are constantly on the hunt. Many even pay top dollar instantly for verified rare finds. There's an entire network of dealers, online auctions, and private collectors searching for the next 1956 D masterpiece. So, what if that penny you spent at the gas station last week was the one? What if someone else picks it up, realizes what you missed, and walks away with nearly $1 million in their pocket? That's the fear, but it's also the fuel. Because now you know what others don't. The story of the 1956 D wheat penny isn't just about money. It's about timing, discovery, and destiny. These coins connect us to history, to craftsmanship, and to the thrill of hidden wealth waiting to be found. So the next time you see that familiar wheat design glinting in the light, don't dismiss it. It might just be your ticket to the wealthy lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And if you're serious about learning which rare coins are in highest demand right now, stay tuned. In the next video, I'll reveal another hidden U.S. coin quietly selling for over $1 million in today's market. Imagine holding a small copper coin, a 1957 D wheat penny, something so ordinary that millions passed it through their hands. But this one could be worth $877,000. Yes, you heard that right, nearly $1 million for a single penny. Now, before you laugh and toss your jar of change aside, let me tell you something. One small minting error could be your ticket to financial freedom. Welcome to another deep dive into the hidden treasures of American history. Today, we're unlocking the mystery behind the 1957 D mint mark wheat penny, the coin that's turning everyday collectors into millionaires overnight. So grab your coffee, sit back, and get ready, because by the end of this video, you'll look at your pennies in a completely different way. The story begins in Denver, 1957. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of wheat pennies, the last of their kind before the Lincoln Memorial Reverse took over in 1959. But something unusual happened during that time. A handful of coins left the mint with rare, almost invisible errors, misaligned dies, double strikes, and even repunched mint marks. To the naked eye, they looked like ordinary pennies. But to the trained collector's eye, they were pure gold. Now here's where it gets interesting. One of these 1957 wheat pennies recently sold for a jaw-dropping $877,000 in a private auction. Why? Because of a small, almost invisible doubling error on the date and mint mark. That imperfection, that tiny flaw, turned an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. And the best part? Coins like these are still out there, sitting quietly in old drawers, dusty boxes, and forgotten collections, waiting to be discovered. Pause for a moment and think about that. Could you imagine finding something in your pocket change worth nearly $1 million? It's like discovering a winning lottery ticket that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. Makes you want to check your coin jar right now, doesn't it? But here's the kicker, not every 1957 penny is valuable. The secret lies in the details. Look for doubling on the numbers, strange distortions near the D mint mark, or unusual luster and texture on the surface. Those subtle signs can mean the difference between a 1-cent coin and an $877,000 fortune. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to turn a simple penny into a luxury lifestyle? Imagine using that money to travel the world, buy your dream car, or even retire early. Sounds like a fantasy? It's not. It's the reality for collectors who understand the hidden power of rare U.S. coins. Here's where it gets powerful. The 1957 wheat penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol, a reminder that value is often hidden where most people never bother to look. The same coin that once bought a stick of gum could now buy a mansion. That's not luck. That's knowledge, patience, and awareness. So if you've been sitting on that old coffee can full of change, it's time to take action. Don't let history and fortune slip through your fingers. Start checking your collection, inspect your wheat pennies carefully, and maybe even get them appraised by a trusted numismatist. Because in today's booming coin market, the demand for rare and error coins is skyrocketing. Collectors are paying record-breaking prices, and once these coins enter private hands, they rarely return to the market. This is your moment. Don't wait for someday. The next coin that changes a life could be sitting right in front of you, waiting for someone with the courage to look closer. And hey, let's be real, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. So before you cash in those coins at the grocery store, maybe, just maybe, give that 1957 penny another look. Because one tiny mint mark, one tiny error, could be worth $877,000. Stay tuned, because in our next episode, we're uncovering another coin that's hiding in plain sight. A coin even more valuable and far rarer than today's 1957 wheat penny. You won't believe where some of these treasures are being found. So make sure to subscribe, because your next discovery could change your life forever.